Hello, Anna.
Hello.
So, hello everyone. It's another episode of Andy Business Club, and we did not do our last events because Anna went for a holiday, and
I know. So it's
we
selfish of me, isn't it? Terrible.
no, but we need holidays, don't we? Uh,
Yeah.
so, so that's a good thing that you had a fresh break, and I also had a break in London, although I did a first aid course rather than enjoying my holiday because we neurodivergent people, we are multi-purpose.
Yeah. Do you know what as well? Actually, the one of the best things I did was go on holiday because when you're starting to feel overwhelmed and because you've been busy and it all builds up and everything. I went away for a week. Best thing for an ADHD brain. Completely cleared it out. It was like when your computer's running a bit slow and you restart it and then it suddenly comes to life again. That was my brain after my holiday. It cleared the cache and it was back on form again.
That's great. So, hello everyone. Thank you very much for joining today's live webinar. I am Dr. 𝐄𝐯𝐶 from Time Research and Innovation, Neurodivergent Business Consortium, and Tadbot AI. And we have Anna Bromington.
Hi, I'm Anna, and I have my own business, Creating the Curve, and I also work for Oxford Innovation, doing business support at their Fair Innovation Centre.
So, thank you everyone for joining today's live webinar. And there's a good thing. I just wanted to announce today that we have started the YouTube Shorts. And what I'm doing now with my team, we started 2 weeks now, and it's being thousands of views of our shorts. So what we meant to do with this program that we record it, it goes live, and then offline we make shorts, and that also goes on the shorts of YouTube and all other social channels. And you'll be glad to know that it's huge views of our shorts. So,
Fantastic.
that's a good thing that we're doing, and we need your support uh, specifically because without your support, we cannot solve problems because we are two. We need 4, 8, 10, and multiplication.
Absolutely, absolutely. Support is any support that anyone wants to give because we're a community, of neurodivergent people, and we love other people to get involved. And I always love this is a really good example of the difference between Dr. Shah's autistic brain and my ADHD brain, because when I recorded my podcast a couple of years ago, I have 38 episodes and always meant to put them on YouTube. But did I ever get around to them, Dr. Shah? No. Look, you see, and Dr. Shah, he's all fantastic processes and brilliant. So I'm trying to be more Dr. Shah. I'm failing though.
No, that's fine. We're a team, so we're gonna be steered to the next levels because you do marketing, I do marketing, you do technology, I also do technology, but around it sometimes it's difficult, and you're always busy, and we
Yeah.
have different trends. That's why we're neurodivergent, because some people they can do better than others, and some people they are worse than others, but combination of all those things, we are different.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always say, because my business partner has ADHD as well, and we tend to have consultants come in to help us because it's how different brains work. My VA is not neurodivergent. She's very process and analytical, and it's about those sort of bringing all your differences together, isn't it, to make something wonderful
Mhm.
where you all can work together and contribute something.
I totally agree with so today we're going to be discussing personalized marketing, how AI is redefining customer engagement. So customers, AI, and marketing is a big topic, isn't it?
It is, and it's such a hot topic. But I'd say 50% at least of the conversations I have at the moment are around this topic.
Mhm. And some people they hate it, some people they love it. So I think we can set the scenario in a way how you can utilize it for your better performance. It doesn't matter some other people hate it or like it. It mostly matters how you get benefited out from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, I think when people think about AI and sort of, and their marketing, it can feel quite overwhelming because, we've got all these different platforms, all these different techniques. See things on LinkedIn every day about
Mhm.
processes. I'm like, which one should I use? Where should I go? So, there's so many different levels. And I think probably a lot of the audience are probably looking at that right now. What do I do? Where do I start?
I totally agree with you because when people say, okay, you're writing content with AI, and some of the people, they will say, we don't like it. And even, it's been proved through research from a few universities in the UK that some of the research paper written by AI is scored 100 out of 100 than a human brain.
Wow. Wow.
Okay.
It's really interesting because I went to Brighton SEO about a year and a half ago, and there was an agency owner called Matt Bennett who did a presentation on AI versus user created content. And there were different experiments around whether the original writer, was an inexperienced in the topic or whether they were experienced in the topic, and the audience, whether they were experienced in the topic or not. So they did a combination of both. And I think from memory, the people that were experienced in the topic and the readers who were experienced in the topic slightly preferred the human generated content.
Mhm.
But everyone else picked the AI content because maybe they found it easier to read, or it just explained it better, or maybe they just didn't know any difference. So it was really interesting. And even when human generated content was one, it was only by sort of quite a small margin. So it did really surprise me because I'm an ex-copywriter. I do love AI, but I am an ex-copywriter, and I do value human generated content. And it was really interesting how narrow that gap was.
I totally agree with you because I use AI, and as a researcher, academic, you can use AI, but you need to recognize and you need to give credits for the work that you are doing with AI. As a dyslexic myself, and due to my memory loss, my sentence making capacities, all other things, sometimes I write things and it doesn't make sense to me after when I read it. Like, oh, okay, what I have write or what I have written here, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So in that space, AI is helping me greatly because people with disability, people with dyslexia, and some of the space is creating great contribution.
This is, I always say about AI, I feel like it's going to be a huge leveler for disabled people.
Mhm.
With ADHD, I have the same problems you. I sort of word vomit all the time, and it doesn't
Mhm.
always make sense, or I'll say too much, or it's incoherent. So now what I'll end up doing is sometimes just using chat GTP or another system, and I will do the one where you can voice record. I will explode my words at it because, like me personally, I am better at verbally communicating than I am written.
Mhm.
And I will just words at it, and it's the same words, but it puts it in an order that people can understand and read. And I find that working in a chat GPT way fits better with my brain. So I'll feed it lots of thoughts and information, and I get it to ask me questions, because also with my ADHD brain, I forget things, I forget what to ask, what to put, and it will prompt me and remind me. And also I have fibromyalgia as well, and I get brain fog. So some
Mhm.
things, it's hard to pull threads to the surface. So that sort of chat and response area of chat GPT just pulls those threads. Oh yeah,
Mhm.
I need to talk about that. Oh, I remember this. And it really helps me. And I actually, it's been a game changer since someone told me to talk at it and then say, to help me turn this into a blog, what information do you need from me? And it will come back with loads of questions. So asking it what information it needs, this has been an absolute game changer for me, because then it starts pulling those threads out of my brain. It's absolutely brilliant.
I do agree with you because, you know, some people they will say, okay, AI, you're using AI. That means you are not using your brain.
Mm.
But person like you and person like me, we have highest qualification. we are working in these fields for many, many years. We know how to utilize our brain and create an original content by the help or aid. Because, we you used to have used dictionaries, isn't it? In past age, okay? What we had when I was in school level in 1990, we used to have like dictionaries, paper dictionaries.
Yeah.
So what we did, we got help from the paper dictionaries to find specific answer
Yeah.
that we don't know. And then the paper dictionaries transformed to a digital dictionaries when I was in college levels, isn't it? So
Yeah.
you used to find, oh, it's very easy. I can find words very easy, and it's versatile. And by the time goes, now we have AI. It's the same thing, isn't it? If you think about that, it's the
Yeah.
same thing. The way, if you use it ethically, systematically, that can produce great things. That
And
can produce great
you've just reminded me of like when I was in A levels and we weren't allowed to do our A level assignments on computer because it had spelling correction, and that was cheating. So so we had to handwrite them. So I'm showing my age now, but this is 25, 30 years ago, sort of times. And we used to have to handwrite them because they thought that spelling correction was cheating. And because even if you weren't doing an English paper, if you were doing maths or science, you were still marked on your spelling and grammar, which is a nightmare for people, particularly dyslexic people that actually know a subject, but they get marked down just because of their spelling and grammar. And then obviously once I moved through to degree, computers had become, I did do a computing degree as well. So computers have become a bit more, okay. And they let you do the spellings, and you didn't get some marks so much on spelling. So I feel like it takes a while to get used to these new technologies, and how, like you said, how we can use them ethically, how we can change what we believe is the right way of doing things. They had to stop marking so much on spellings because Word will do that for you. So with AI, how will it change how we do things in education, in business? Because it's bringing a different dynamic to things. So, I think AI's got a brilliant place in things like education, but there's going to be a shift in how you mark people's work and how you do assessments, because you need to know that information is retained and not from AI. So, it's as a society, we're going to have to shift. But, as a person that, I consider myself disabled, it's a leveler, a huge game changer. And I think we can't discount those benefits because there are a few difficulties or pitfalls that we need to work through.
Yeah, because in our early age of education, the systematic approach that we have now wasn't like that. Now, being a dyslexic person, people get aided. Like, it doesn't matter if you use translation or other things because you're dyslexic, so you can't improve that one. It's your thing is not your thing, so you can use them. Additional time. When I was young, I would never thought that, okay, I will have additional time to my exam because I have a conditions, and it didn't happen. But now you can see you're dyslexic, you're neurodivergent, and you have disabilities, or maybe limited eyesight, or a lot of other things. You can aid for better performance, and that's all about it, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, once you think about people getting into AI, in those sort of early years, because that's what it's going to do. My son's 9 years old. He's going to, we've already talked about AI and what it is and how it can help and the pitfalls. It makes sense for businesses to adopt it, to get used to it, it's going to change the way businesses work, I think. And it's a bit of an upheaval, and it is quite hard working out how hard it is. But I don't know if you agree, but I think that businesses that embrace AI, it's here. If you don't embrace it, you might fall behind potentially.
I have done a small research to understand the severity of AI and the business together. So what I found that the audience is more mature than 5 years before, before the pandemic. So if you see the scenario, pandemic before and after pandemic, in pandemic, even 80 years old person become tech savvy because they have to use tech, tech for their sustainability, or to communicate with people or something like that. So when you think about AI, ChatGPT was a great invention, I would say. Why? We work with data from 80s. AI is existing, 1980s, and now everyone knows about AI. So we used to work. My PhD was in AI. I used to work on big data, medical data, and all other things. But we produce results for medical. We produce results for different kind of things. But what ChatGPT did, it gave a humanized form of, I would say, acceptance to everyone. So it was allied before for people, researcher, big corporation. They used to use it. Now it become like localized.
Yeah.
Everyone they can use it. So the way is transforming. Businesses, if they don't utilize it, you're right, they're going to fall apart. I give one example, because you know that we do SEO, search engine optimization. Google is earning billions of pounds or amount every year. Now they're thinking about AI optimization. So it's called AI engine optimization, AEO. It has other forms of name as well. So if your business or website or application is not optimized with AI, the future generation, they can't find you on engine. Like if you ask ChatGPT about, okay, who is Dr. Shah? Okay, if I'm not optimized for AI engine, it can't find me. So in that space, I'm just losing a client. They're looking for me.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it's really interesting, saying about AI being around for a long time, because I did a talk about, I think it was about 8 years ago, because I've been into AI for a long time, probably because I'm an ex-programmer. And I did a talk, I think it was on AI doesn't have to be exciting. And I talked a lot about things like the Ocado engine, where they use it to sort of predict the weather, what people are going to buy so they can get the right stock in. Hence why their system is so good. You hardly ever get anything out of stock, and you normally get most of your delivery. So I talked about that. And I think people don't realize they've been using AI for a long time.
Yes.
It's been in manufacturing, it's been in the things that you bought, but it's, like you said, behind the scenes, and it's actually been helping. It's been clever. It's I used to work a lot with sort of machine learning content management systems like Sitecore, with like plugins like search plugins like 𝐃𝐲𝐬𝐫, where they would predict what you wanted to search for on a website. And people didn't see them. They were using them, and it had an AI back end, but you just didn't know they were there. And I think ChatGPT, I don't want to use the word, but AI's become sexy. It's become like easy to use, because before it was quite technical. You had to sort of know how to wield it. And this user interface, it's just like using WhatsApp, isn't it? It's something familiar, something that everybody uses, this chat interface, WhatsApp, Messenger, and you're just talking to someone. And we've had sort of chat bots for a while on site. So we're kind of used to that engagement. And now it's got this really good natural language processing. So you can just blurb at it and it understands what you want. So it has become this sort of what I'd say, I guess it's that technology adoption curve, isn't it? It gets to the mass adoption, and that's where people have got to now. But actually, it's been around for, like you said, a very long time. But now now it's mass adoption. That means so many people are going to be using it, and it's easy to use. So you've got to learn those tools. A bit like, you know, in the early days of web design, if you were the first people to have a website, you stood out amongst your peers. You know, I remember I had my own photography business. Oh goodness, I want to say about 18 years ago. And I adopted things like Google Business Profile, Google My Business it was back then. And I was one of the first in my area. And obviously photography, wedding photography, portrait photography is a local experience. And I was one of the first to adopt them in my area. And I just got inquiry because I jumped on something fairly new, fairly quickly. And I feel like that, you know, for all these new little leaps in technology, if you don't jump on early, you're then playing catch up, you know, paddling up the stream with your paddles, like, come on, I'm coming. But actually early adopters do tend to sort of zoom off into the distance. So this is why I've been really keen to adopt it myself.
I know what you meant, Anna. I can remember when I was doing my undergraduate degree in 2006 in the UK. We used to design with Dreamweaver. You know Dreamweaver?
Oh, Dreamweaver, yeah, I loved
it. And it was just like a Adobe software, and you just design things. It's HTML, and then that will create your website. We didn't think that time data-driven and all other things. We just make something to work with. So due to my work and in 85 and 90s and after that, when computer was just reaching home and other things, it was amazing. Like, okay, the things we could do that time. And if I compare that time to now, it has shifted so much. Like, I think 50 years worth of development happened in 5 years after pandemic.
Yeah, it's huge, isn't it? Because everything went online. It's been such a massive shift, and it's been a hard shift for people. You know, I see elderly relatives, family that doesn't, in areas that are economically not great, where they haven't got the money for technology, and they've been struggling. But the one thing I did like is I saw a massive shift over that time, because people were going online more. There was a bit more of a shift towards things like making sure mobile sites were working, apps, because the one thing a lot of research tells us is that if someone can't afford a computer, they may have like a tablet or a mobile phone to access things. So I did think that, from what I saw in the industry at the time, that more things were becoming more accessible via mobile phones. You know, it's very rare that I go to a site these days and it doesn't work quite well on a mobile phone, which a few years ago was not the case. So I think there has been a good shift in that, for people being able to adopt technology who maybe can't afford it or aren't able to. I know my parents-in-law, they tend to spend their life on a tablet rather than the computer, because it's more comfortable for them. They can sit in their chair and they can enjoy it. So I think this, and ChatGPT, I use the mobile app all the time. I can just sit there and talk at it, or just type things in. So I think this, there is this shift, isn't there, towards making things easier for people to do stuff wherever they want to do it and where they want to work, and make stuff easier. And that's sort of where AI comes in from a customer perspective, but also from a business perspective as well, because you don't have to be sitting at your desk to do it. You can use it everywhere, which is brilliant.
So I just wanted to share my screen. Just allow me a few minutes. So I'm just going to share a window to discuss a little bit about the work we are doing and how we are implementing AI. Some people will hate it and some people will love it, as we know. It doesn't matter really. The only things matter, how you customize AI to produce results. So that's all about it. So you can see our site. This is Chatbot AI. And we've been developing systems specifically from the back end to embed AI technology to applications and all other things. So here, you can see, I just wanted to share that, okay, you can see these photos. Can you imagine that it is created by human and AI together. Okay, so if you can create art forms, and you know that there are varieties of art form you can create through AI, and we created AI and human form together and combine them to make a good work. And next thing, the next image I can share there, it's also created with human and AI touch. So when you see image like this, can you tell that, okay, is it AI generated or it is human generated?
Yeah, and do you know what? I think that's a really good point as well with what you're saying there, because I find with ChatGPT, I think the problem comes when people try and get AI to do everything and not have any input. The great thing about AI is it's a collaborative tool. So you can generate things. So, for example, my new podcast is launching next week, and for my first podcast, we had some stock music, and I must admit, even on my first podcast, it took me weeks to try and decide on a tune. So I ended up using this time I couldn't find what I wanted, so I used 𝐄𝐶 AI software, which does music and songs for you. And so I got it to generate some tunes, and I spent about 2 days on it over a weekend, just trying to get it doing the right thing, sounding exactly how I wanted it, because I used to play music, so I know what I wanted, and this is why I couldn't find anything on other software. So it generated this tune, but then exactly what you've done with your software. So I then chopped it around. So I chopped it. So I was like, I want this bit as the intro, and then this bit is like the end of sort of just as it leads into the podcast, and then I want some quieter music because I'm going to do a voiceover. So then I brought it all into Audacity, which is a music editing software, and then I chopped and changed it. So it gave me some of what I needed, and then I added what I wanted. So it felt like it was me and how it worked. And it's that collaboration, isn't it? That sort of, we're not getting rid of humans, but it can do a bit of the heavy lifting. So for example, I haven't played music for a long time. I don't have, I think I've got a keyboard up in the loft. For me to actually create the song, also I can't sing. It's awful. It's like someone swinging a dead cat. It's just awful. So like it gave me a little bit of what I needed, but I knew what I wanted as someone who used to play music. So I sort of managed to get what I wanted with this sort of little help that it gave me. And then I'm pleased with my intro. It feels very me, and I've had a lot of input into it, even though some of it was AI generated. So it's that collaboration, exactly what you're saying with those images. It's that sort of collaboration.
It has to be original. And when you have AI and human brain works together, you can bring originality to the work. So, and as well as the easiness, I would say, when you wanted to design a high-tech visualization, if you don't have that person in your team, what you do? That time AI can kick in, but still you need to utilize AI the way you want, because AI wouldn't know what you want. So when you describe what you want to get this piece out, I have spent hours, and then adding the human touch, it became a masterpiece. So you need to know what you wanted to do, what results you wanted to achieve. Now I'm playing with creating my avatar, and whenever I'm trying to create my avatar with AI, still I'm not happy. So what we are doing now, we are creating custom models. Like, okay, Anna, we wanted to build your avatar, and that avatar will be true self of you. So it can talk like you, it can think like you, it can deliver like you, all other things. So these are the things. It's just like trial and error basis. Like you create something, you trial them, you got error, and then you get to the final point. So when you talk about business and their adaptation to AI, it could be many form. It could be in software development, it could be in marketing, it could be in graphic design, it could be adding chatbots. So I wanted to share another thing that I think we have a question here. Oh, sorry, we are just talking. We didn't consider our question. So thank you everyone for watching today's live webinar. And we are talking about AI and marketing, how you can create significant impact with that. So we have a question here. What emerging trend would we watch in AI-driven customer engagement? So I just wanted to add the question there. So thank you everyone for your time. So Saladin asked, what emerging trend should we watch in AI-driven customer engagement?
For me, I think it's about the serving the customer, particularly as a small business, because the one thing that I've seen, like with AI, is it means that you can do more. So things like AI chatbots can be always on, so people can get answers to stuff straight away. Giving them content. So, for example, having a customer base where they can access like questions and answers, being able to like be always on so people can purchase at any point of the day. I think things like that are really good. And so you're seeing those sort of emerging trends, particularly as businesses go international and are dealing with different time zones. And I also think from a customer engagement point of view, I think there's a bit of a trend towards like I used to work a lot in web design, so serving really good content to people on websites. So, it used to be just personalized ads and things like that, but now you can get recommendations and sometimes it's done really badly. So when I went on holiday in over Easter, I went with Jet2. And it does send me like personalized emails now of like what I've got in my wish list of where I want to go and some ideas, but it gets a bit muddled and it gets a bit, so there is downside to these trends. So I love the fact they're sending me personalized things and ideas, but then I've put a load of stuff in my wish list because I'm deciding I'm going on another holiday. I enjoyed the last one so much. So I'm going to another holiday, and it keeps sending me emails about my wish list, but I've actually booked my holiday from the wish list now. So it's, you've got to be really careful with that, because the personalization is fine, but there's almost this like mid-level of cleverness where it's got a little bit, but actually then it starts getting really annoying. So those trends need to stop, because you need to if you're going to do it well, so that you're not annoying your customers. Because now I'm probably getting an email every day from Jet2 about my wish list that I've already bought a holiday from. It's a bit like when you go to Currys and I'll look for toasters, and then I buy a toaster off Currys, and then it shows me adverts for toasters for the next year, and you're like, well, no, I've bought one. I don't really need more than one toaster. So I think there's this trend that where people are using it, but it's actually not very connected. It's not very clever. It's using sort of maybe machine learning rather than AI, that sort of base level. And we actually need to make sure that we're doing it well, because actually you can really annoy people by doing this automation if it's not smart and it's not clever. So I think making sure that people, when you're going through customer engagement, that you are doing the journeys, making sure you're testing it out so that it isn't frustrating people, and asking for feedback as well, because it is new. You are going to make mistakes with it, but just, get feedback. And that's one thing that people don't do enough: get customer feedback, get their experience on it, because implementing something new is always going to be fraught with different problems or wonderful things. So, try to sort of, when once you're on there, just try and do it well, because that's what's going to make you stand up above others.
Yes, Anna. So I just wanted to share one thing that to refer to your question. We are, as I said, we are developing AI bots, AI chatbots, AI customer service agent. So if you go to chatbotai.com, you will be able to see all the domains that we're working on. But I don't want to advertise that. I just wanted to share you as I said, the customer service agent, and it's the AI chatbot, and I'm clicking it. I'm not sure that my screen is working or my thing is working. So there is a chatbot here, and I think I need to refresh my page. I have internet issues, so sometimes I have problems with loading my page. So in every page nowadays, systematically, I will just wait until it's load up. So every page systematically, you know that, Anna, that you will have AI bots embedded. So
I think chatbots are a really good place to start as well, aren't they? Because going back to that chat system of the fact that that's why people embrace chat GPT. That's why they like WhatsApp. They like that people love that chat-based system. And I always think that if anyone's going to start somewhere, embedding a chat bot where people can ask questions, you know, like TEDbot, that's a really brilliant place to get going, because you can load it up with all of your data, you know, and that's one thing I love about AI systems. It doesn't have to be like ChatGPT, where it's just pulling from a big database. You can load all your own knowledge and things up into it, so that it's using your language and your answers to do this. And chatbots are a really great one, because you can be always on, you can answer questions, but then you can always have the backup if the AI doesn't know the answer, that they can contact you. So I love chatbots for AI, and I think that it's a brilliant place to start.
Yes. So I just loaded our chatbot. So what we do, we work systematically. I'm not sure you can see my page. I'm just having.
Yeah, I can
Okay.
see it.
Okay, there is a chatbot there. You can see is my
Yeah.
picture. Our picture is so you can see there is a chatbot here, and if you ask the chatbot a specific question, you can ask it, or you can what service do you offer? So it will tailor the methodology for you to answering that questions. And Anna, you know that nowadays we go to different places, and we don't have time to spend like hours to check our websites. So what it happens when you have a AI chatbot or customer service agent, all the knowledge are there. Like you just said, it could be customized with your knowledge. So if someone is asking for something, you got that answer, and as well as refers to that. So you can see that it's been produced the results we are looking for in a few seconds time, and as well as sharing you the link to get out there. So in relation with your work, day-to-day activities, and all the things that you would do, uh, I think AI can enhance your work greatly. And when you utilize AI, you need to understand your purpose, because we are talking about today marketing AI, how they can combine together. I think before you combine them, you need to understand what is your methodology, why you wanted to use them, and how you wanted to use them, how you can be ethical rather than doing something with AI and saying that, okay, this is original, this is created by you, and all of other things, isn't it, Anna?
Yeah, and I think it's that pre-piece I tend to do. I look at in my business, what is the blockers? What's taking me a long time? So, I mean, a lot of the time my blockers is my brain. But, you know, what is the blockers? Where am I struggling? So, for example, the reason I use AI sometimes to come up with content ideas is, you know, if I'm having a fibro fog, I'm really blocking that process. So, you know, how can I make that better? Or it might be that, you know, I can be quite forgetful. So actually, you know, I'm looking at the moment on how I might be able to automate things better, so that when someone sends me an email, somehow I get nudged every now and then to reply to it. You know, how can AI help you in the things that you need doing? Because I think AI is so vast that if you try to tackle everything at once, so I would say start with your processes. Where is the blocker? Is it you? Is it something that's, you know, some process that's happening? Is it getting quotes out? Is it customer service? Where is there a real blocker? And work on one problem at a time. You know, that's where I tend to start.
Yes, Anna. So we got our next questions from Redwan. He asked, "What do you see? Where do you see the future of AI and personalized marketing heading in the next 5 years?"
Um, I think that if you are, where is it going in the next 5 years? I feel like if you're not doing personalized marketing in the next 5 years, you're going to be obsolete. I think because there's a lot of stats out there that I've read in marketing where people are expecting now a personalized experience. They don't want a generic one.
Mhm.
There's this weird balance between people worried about their data but also wanting a personalized experience. But they don't want people to track their cookies. You saw the problem with that, and third party cookies not working across sites anymore, and so there's this problem with people not wanting their data tracked, but actually liking the result of their data tracked. And I mean, I absolutely love personalized advertising that gets to know me. I'm a bit of a shopaholic. I've bought so much from shopping on personalized marketing that is geared towards me, and it knows me very well. I do let things track me quite a lot. So I feel like there's this bit of a war there, and so it's going to be harder to understand what people like, but at the same time you have to give them what they like. So that's going to be, I think, the war over the next 5 years of how we manage that.
Yes, because you know we need to do
Mm.
personalization. Why? Uh, as a neurodivergent person myself, I think I'm unique, and every person in this world, they are
Mm.
unique. So if you measure everyone in the same cup,
Yeah.
it doesn't fulfill their needs or demands and all other things. So I know that when you are utilizing technology, the companies, they are serving you without getting your data to their system. They cannot personalize your service. For that reason, I think you can share your data, but there are good apples and bad apples in the community, and in technology and in business as well. Some people might use your data to do, and you have to be very careful that you don't give your biological data, you don't give your data identification data, all those things, but you can give your characterization. It doesn't matter if they wanted to like you said, Anna, that shopaholism, and if you do not know that which dress or uniform or whatever you wanted to buy, if that is personalized, you can make your choice very quickly. So buying things and all of the things can be personalized, but
Mm.
you do not share your date of birth. You do not share your all other things that can be very critical and tricky.
Yeah. I mean, I always give the example of Netflix. I absolutely love Netflix because it knows what I like to watch. I watch a lot of sort of sci-fi and fantasy type films and series. And I think, like, everyone's really busy these days. And I wouldn't, I remember the days when we used to go to Blockbuster Video and you'd spend like an hour looking through all the shelves to try and find something that you would like. And I don't have that time. I've got an autistic 9-year-old. I have a long job. I have my own business. I don't have time to spend looking through all of the movies to decide what I want to watch. And places like Netflix are people like me that actually, I know what I like, but I don't know where it is.
Mhm.
It gets to know me and understand me, and it will serve me the content. And I found so many good shows through there that I would never have found or never have understood what it was for me. And so things like that are part of our everyday AI sort of usage. Same with Ocado, it's always got my stuff in stock because that it knows what I like, and it knows what the weather's like, and it knows what other people are buying. So, I just think those personalized experiences are absolutely fantastic. The amount of lovely food that I found through places like Ocado where they recommend you stuff. And I feel that it makes my life better. It takes away some of the overwhelm because I'm not given all these choices. It allows me to sort of find new things that I never would have found before. And it just enhances every part of my day and fits really lovely with my day. So, the AI, I think, is it can make people's lives better and easier, and understand. I mean, there is the downside as well, which when it comes to political things and that, people can end up in a bit of an echo chamber because it knows what you like. And I know there was a big thing on YouTube. I saw a few articles a year or two ago around people spiraling down holes of hate content or mental health content that wasn't very safe for them and things like that. So there are downsides to getting to know you, because you can end up spiraling down rabbit holes, but used ethically, like it's that ethical thing again, used ethically and safely, these recommendations can be brilliant.
I know that data is precious. Everyone's data, it is precious. And in the era of data mining, we need data. Doesn't matter. Is it personal data? Is behavioral data? Is your biological, biomedical data? And all of the things. Even if you think about biomedical data, that also help research to grow to a certain extent. I can remember when I was doing my PhD, and after my PhD work, that data is very much, I would say, hard to get. Because why? Because the data you are looking for is not exists. So in that way, you need to wait for those data to do scientific research, because without data, you cannot do scientific research. I can remember when it was COVID, we developed a specific model to recognize COVID from X-ray images, to analyzing images and X-ray patterns and their lungs, different type of things, haziness, and all of the things. It performed very well, because when there is data, you can predict things properly. It helped us a lot, because those people, I know in pandemic, millions of people died and a lot of bad things happened. But it also has a good effect on us. If we say about technology, as I said, it extended, draws, a standard like 50 years. We would be 50 years less ahead if the pandemic wasn't happened. We have cohesion, because pandemic gave us cohesion, isn't it? We love each other, we care for each other, and a lot of other things. So when something is growing, developing, it will have good and bad effects. You talk about Andrew Tate, and we talk about him, and he's a superstar, although in a bad way. But we talk about him. We talk about mental health. We talk about Instagram, because there are a couple of high profile cases in the UK due to Instagram. They failed, isn't it? But is Instagram, they are redefining their policies, maybe, or maybe not, we don't know, because we are not suffer of their bad thing. Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, all technology will have some bad effects, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's I mean, everything in this world, I think, from nuclear to, for every invention, there's always something that, people can use things for good and bad. There's, I remember the controversy with Cambridge Analytica years ago over sort of Brexit and politically how they were using data to sway campaigns, which feels quite unethical, because they were sort of trying to sway people towards one or the other, and whoever had the most money could buy these services and try and sway opinion their way. So there is this big balance of this ethical side of things, and the problem is, not all technology companies have this ethical side. There's a big thing around ChatGPT at the moment, where and other AI programs which have taken data, copyrighted data. A friend of mine, Mark Schaefer, he has a lot of books, and he found that all of his books were being used to train some of the AI data. And he's a big fan of AI. So you can have both. You can be upset with AI and like it at the same time. And he mentioned that if even if they'd have just bought one copy of each of his books, he'd have felt that at least that was something that they would have given him to be able to use his data, rather than using it for free. So there is this this bit of a war at the moment, because that capitalism doesn't always come with ethics. So it's trying to get that balance of, you're making money, maybe ethic. The problem is when you introduce ethics, you still earn money, but maybe not the huge volumes that you would have done. It might be the 1 billion instead of 10 billion, or so. And the problem is, you see at the moment, it's more. I want more profit. I want more profit. I want more profit, and then ethics go to the side. So I think there are things happening with sort of regulations coming in. I know the EU and UK and that are looking at these regulations, but it is hard to regulate something that is so new and so not very well understood of the ramifications of it at the moment. So that is going to be really hard, I think.
I totally agree with you, Anna, because we are human, and we have two sides, one good, one bad. So it's just like which one you wanted to practice. Some people, they would say, they are like sand. People can be angel. No, they can't, because they have a good thing and bad thing in them. So the more they practice the good thing, they become more better. And the more they practice the bad thing, they become more worse. So it's up to the people, your community, how you utilize AI for growing your business or any other purposes. You're going to be on the steering seat, and no one can steer you until you steer yourself. So don't blame other people. Think what you wanted to do, what you wanted to achieve, and as we are talking about ethical consideration. So anything that you do, think ethically. Like, okay, how extent you wanted to utilize it. Is it necessary to utilize it? Because we human, we can't prioritize machine over us. We can have machine as an aider, but if you were in an incubator or something like that, we need machine to give us the heart, give us the blood. That time they can be superior or something like that. But if our brain is working, we know how we can deal and handle it.
It's really interesting because it just reminded me of someone's telling me a story the other day that someone had been to a networking event, and they said, right, now I'm going to send out AI messages to all of the people I've met. And I feel like that is the opposite time you should use AI, because you've just met someone, you've talked about something, and you could say in the LinkedIn DM, oh, it was really good like talking to you about X, Y, and Z. That's an ideal time. Like I'm not saying you don't get, like, you could get like ChatGPT to sort of help you carve the message out, but they were just going to use it to send generic messages. And so this is back to this personalization. If you've just met someone in person, don't send them a generic message, because you've just made a connection. So continue that connection. And there is, like, AI can be part of it. It could be that it helps you automate sending them out, or it can help you craft a message that is relevant to what you've talked about, but you've got to put some of yourself in there. It's not all or nothing, like just exactly what you've just said, Dr. Shah. It's a partnership of the two of you.
Yes, because without that, even if you wanted to grow your business, if you're not careful about that, you can have diverse effects. Why? Because you are not careful, and you have to be careful. And I'm very sorry to everyone that we wouldn't take a lot of questions today. But thank you everyone for joining today's live webinar, and we enjoyed talking. So I hope you have enjoyed as well. And please share this episode with your friends, family, because we are two. We need more people to join with us to extend our reach to the next levels. Anna, at the end, we just have 5 minutes. So we just wanted to do a recap. So do you have anything takeaways for the audience to think about?
Yeah, I think reiterating what we're saying, we're talking about personalized marketing, but, make it personal to you and your business as well. It needs to be personalized from both sides. Look at your processes, look at where you need to implement it. And I would say take baby steps. So just choose one to start with, one area, work on that, and then sort of once you're comfortable with that, move to the next area, because it needs to be, there's no answer to this on what AI you should implement. It's where the blockers are and where you need assistance the most.
Yes, I also express the same with you. As I described earlier, think about why you need it for, why you need AI. It doesn't matter, it's business, personal, or whatever. I said I use it for my personal business. In every scenario I could use it because I have some disabilities, and I can also extend my thinking to the next level by asking some questions to AI. Like, okay, I wanted to do that. Can you find a research for me? When I did my PhD, I used to research with hundreds of Google search and all of the things. Now what happened? I just asked ChatGPT, like, okay, this is the things that I wanted to find. Can you find it for me? It gave me all the research and all the things in few milliseconds. So my working capacity increased from 10 to 20%.
Yeah.
Isn't it? So AI is helping hands. AI is your buddy, but it's not your superior. You need to know how you can use AI to extend your levels to the next levels. Otherwise, if you depends on AI too much, you will lose your credibility, because sometimes, when it's load shedding, you don't have AI, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
last time, or when all the airports were shut down,
Yeah.
we didn't have anything technology, and people used to find cash. Last week, I think before last week, Spain had the same incident. Electricity was gone,
Yeah.
so AI is not there. So if you think that, okay, your personal information or all other things and creativity, you all depends on AI, think about a system that, okay, on 1 month you don't have AI. What are you going to do?
Yeah. Yeah, do you know what? It's funny because it's similar when we talk about marketing and we say, like, with Facebook, if you've got all your followers on Facebook and you haven't got your own database, what happens if Facebook kicks your kicks you off their system, or shuts down, or breaks? It's the same with AI. What if ChatGPT shut down tomorrow? Like, I would miss it, but I could do without it. I'm used
Yeah.
to doing it because I know what my processes are and what I need to do, and I find it time saving. But if it shut down tomorrow, my business wouldn't end. And I think I'm 100% with you. Don't rely on one system completely, and
Mhm.
it'd be so ingrained that that's it if it's the end of days. So I 100% agree with this. Good shout, Dr. Shah.
I think this kind of things, this kind of mishap, because if you're thinking about, if you're dependent on something too much, doesn't matter if it's your partner, if it's your children, or your father or mother. You cannot depend as an individuals to anyone 100%. You have to have something with you, within you, unless you don't have brain capacity, or you are disabled totally, that you cannot use it. You are dependent on these kind of things. Until otherwise, I would recommend mostly that you have multiple doors open at the same time, multiple pockets. Like, okay, you are depending on Facebook, like Anna said, if it's shut down, what you can do on YouTube, or maybe a systematic approach. So big corporation, they also save their data in paper. You know that, because they have to print all the things they are doing, because otherwise, is the system shut down, or they have a disaster, or maybe tsunami, everything blown away, why are they going to find their core information? They have to be redundant, saved, different places, and then you can sustain and work properly. So, Anna, last comment.
Yeah, and I just say, like, with AI, have fun with it, because
Mhm.
I love it. Like that Suno that I said about, I spent because I work at Ferrum Innovation Centre, I made a Ferrum Innovation Centre song. I made songs for all my friends. And I find, like, playing with stuff, like not always going in for a business thing. I'll just try and have fun with it. Like me and my son, we did Pokemon poems in ChatGPT. Just like, you know, playing and having fun and seeing what it can do is the best way to get to know something. And, you know, I use it for, I've just asked it because I need to go on a new diet, and I've told it the conditions I have. And I've asked it what type of food and do me a menu, you know, do have fun and do like life, like you said, personal stuff like that, because all that playing will get you used to it.
Yes, Anna, I never agree more. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining today's live webinar. I'm Dr. 𝐄𝐯𝐶𝐞, and we have Anna Bramington. We're going to be welcome you next month with our another episode, second week. And we also have an in-person event in July. So we're going to be working very hard to get you everyone at the Fairnham Innovation Center, because last events we did not have many people to attend due to, I think, school holidays. But in July, it's before the school holidays. So everyone going to be preparing for their holidays. But before that, we will have our events. We want you to come on board, because we wanted to talk about the legislation and all of the things that we can aid to you, to your future generation, and then have a petition signed to the government. So until next event, thank you, Anna, and thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.